All right, guys, welcome to another episode. I'm Orlando.
And I'm Omar,
We're the Smart Bros.
and this is the Smart Take.
All right, we'll get right into it, man. We just had that Houston Texans game, and I'll be honest, I am not happy with that win. Obviously, a win is a win, but we said in our pregame video that's anything less than a blowout was going to be disappointing. That team was not up to par with us, or it shouldn't have been. We absolutely played down to their level, and it showed on the field. We needed a 98-yard drive to win that game against a 1-10 team. We needed a 98-yard drive. We just going in, at this point in the season, we just can't have slow starts, and it wasn't even no, we can't. We didn't even have a slow start. We came out pretty well, I thought, in the first drive, and then that everything from that fumbled punt was just downhill from there. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely can't really have that. They say the championship team, best teams, have to be able to win ugly. But I mean, I think there's other teams you can win ugly against. Like I feel like the Packers is an ugly win because they're also bad, but you got to win that game. Like this shouldn't happen. But it definitely makes me think about because the Broncos, they almost beat the Chiefs, but like it just seems like maybe it's because we're the Cowboys. It just makes everything a lot more like out in the open, a lot worse because I mean they almost lost too, but it's not like anybody's saying like, oh yeah, they can't win the playoffs or they're doomed. So I mean, I was not happy with the game at all. I was happy with how we started. We got a touchdown on the first drive. I was like, oh, bet. Then the 3-and-out, great. I was like, well, I wouldn't say great. That's what it was supposed to happen. Then the muff punt, everything went downhill from there. Like you said, I'm glad we at least we got the win. I definitely rather have an ugly win than a pretty loss. There's no moral victories in losing, in my opinion. Like, yeah, we almost won this and that, but this is a team that can't really afford to just be losing games if we want to go where we want to go. So, especially games like that. So, I mean, it is what it is. The game's over. We got Jacksonville next week, so we just gotta hope that we've already had our trap game. That's the thing. So it's like I'm not sure what that was this game was about, but hey, we won. But we had our predictions from last games. Tell me which ones you had, what predictions you had, and which ones you got right. I know I was a lot way off on a lot because I just didn't see this coming.
I mean, I was kind of hit or miss here. I said that Dak would have 262, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and I was the my no pick thing. We just still haven't tightened it up. In the second one, and I hate doing this every week. That I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but like Josh Ball comes in and immediately hits his arm on the neck, and first the fumble after he gets hit, and then the next one hits his arm on the throw, which was a pick. But so it's just hard. I just can't. I don't want this to happen anymore. I'm getting sick of the picks, Dak. But he ended up with 284, 1 touchdown and 2 picks, and then Dalton dropped a touchdown in the end zone, which nullified my tight end touchdown prediction. And then Gallup had a touchdown at the end that he dropped, so that kind of threw my numbers off. With Dak, I thought that CD would have 8 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown, but Dak was just completely off this game, in my opinion, up until that last drive. And so CD only ended up with 5 catches for 33 yards. And then I thought Zeke and Tony would combine for 200 total yards with 2 touchdowns. And I was wrong on both yards and touchdowns. They had 143 yards, but 3 touchdowns. So wrong on opposite ends. It's good on one side, bad on the other. And then our D line, I thought Micah would get at least 2 sacks just based off the pressure of everybody, but no one got any sacks. And then I thought that we'd have 2 picks as a team, one coming from JK because he said he'd get us a pick this game, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt only because he got injured before the game, but he stuck through it. But that injury kind of, dampened his abilities for sure. And then Trayvon, I wanted Diggs to get that pick, but I don't know if they're not gonna give him a half pick. It's not like a sack or anything. But that pick will go to Israel. So we ended up only with 1 pick. And then I also thought that we'd hold Damian Pierce to less than 50 yards and that he would probably score a touchdown. But he did score a touchdown, but he got 78 rushing yards. And then um, and then my final score prediction, I thought we would win 35-13, and we barely won 27-23. What about yours?
I had the defense will create 3 turnovers. We created 2, so I mean that's solid. But I mean, the last one was literally just a throw up. But hey, it still counts as a turnover. And I agree. I think Diggs had it first. He even said it on Twitter, like, hey, you should give me that pick. And I hope they do because I'm a guy. I'm a big Diggs guy, as y'all know. So I hope he gets that pick. And he got the scoop and score, looking like his receiver days, what he was talking about. I thought the defense would get 6+ sacks just because I thought we would be up by so much. They would just have to be throwing the ball, and that's when our defensive line comes into play. But we were literally trailing for a lot of the game. They were running read options, this and that. We ended up with 0 sacks, and I'm not gonna lie, like I think that's our first 0 sack game, and I don't remember how long. Like 0 sacks, that's just unacceptable. Even if they're not throwing a lot, we've got to find a way. Like I know we're still getting pressure and this and that, but we've got, especially we have younger DBs, and we got to help our DBs by trying to get a lot more pressure. That way, they have to get the ball out earlier, get the ball, hit some arms, do what you got to do. And I'm not happy with Michael's performances lately. I know you can't get a sack every game, but the kind of player you are, it seemed like you got to be able to get at least one. I don't like that boom or bust, 2 or none. Like I know he's still making impact plays, but come on, man, like you got to. I want you to win DPOY. I want you to win sack leader, and having 2 straight games with 0 sacks, I don't think that's going to win it. But hey, we got the win. I thought Dak would throw for 225 and 4 touchdowns. He threw for 285 and 1 touchdown. He should have had 3 in my eyes because one he threw to Dalton, he just dropped. One he threw to MG, which could have been a controversial catch. He had it. I know he didn't get the second foot down, but he came down and it seemed like it just like slipped out at the end. I mean, so he could have had 3 touchdowns. It is what it is, which also nullifies my tight end touchdown because I thought they would have one, and I thought MG would have a touchdown, but I thought he'd have 50 yards and a touchdown. He had 40 yards, 0 touchdowns. That could have put him around the 50 yards and a touchdown mark, but neither here nor there. I thought TP and Zeke would combine for 180 yards of total offense, 2 touchdowns. They had 143 yards, like you said, and 3 touchdowns. So if it's got to be one or the other, I'd rather 3 touchdowns because that puts points on the board, not the yards. And I thought CD would have another monstrous game, 90 yards, 90 plus yards and a touchdown. Only had 33 yards and 0 touchdowns. I mean, sometimes your best receivers are not going to just go crazy, even though I'd rather us have gotten him more involved. But like you said, Dak just wasn't really on today. Seemed like everybody since that muff punt, other than Zeke and TP, they played solid the whole game. I'll give them that. They played solid. So yeah, I think other than that, it was very shaky from Dak. He threw that one pick being aggressive. He says he's going to promise he cleans it up, but I feel like that's what everybody says. So actions speak louder than words. So I guess we'll just see. It's too late in the season to be having these costly picks every game. Like it was the Texans. That's really the reason we won. Had this been a better team, had this been like any of the contending team, we're not going to win that game playing how we did. So we definitely need to clean that up going into Jacksonville because going into Jacksonville won't be just a pushover. I mean, I think we should win, but I guess we'll see. I thought Cooper Rush would have a touchdown just because, like I said, I thought we'd be up by so much. We're trailing, so Cooper Rush didn't get any playing time, so he had 0 touchdowns, of course. And I thought we would win 45-13, won 27-23. Ugly win. Glad we got the win, though. But I know Terrence still got hurt, and so we had Josh Ball step in. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I do not want to see Josh Allen protecting my quarterback. Jason Peters he showed he could slide in and be a right tackle. Even if he's not an all pro, he's better than Josh Ball. We just, like he said it himself, he's good at standing in front of people, and Josh Ball is not. So that's who I wanted. We were this close to getting our line fully healthy with Tyron coming back, but luckily we have Jason Peters who can slide in and out, and so we won't. We're not now that Tyron's back. We're like swapping one, so it's not the end of the world for our line.
And we're
How do you feel?
for an all-pro lineman, a future Hall of Fame
Yeah.
lineman. So I really want to know what they're gonna end up doing with our rookie, Tyler Smith, because obviously that's Tyron's job. But are they going to move Tyler Smith to right guard or left guard? What are they? I really want to know what they're going to do with that, because it should be interesting. Because Tyler Smith, he's definitely given up some pressures, a couple sacks, I think, but for the most part, he seems like he got some penalties, but I feel like he played pretty solid to be a rookie. So I'll just like to see what they're going to do with that.
Oh yeah, he's definitely been a solid rookie. If you had to pick a MVP of the Texans game, who would you pick?
I'd have to go Zeke, because Zeke played a pretty good game. He was averaging like 4.8 per carry, had like 62 yards, had a big touchdown at the end, had our game-winning touchdown after the 98-yard final drive. Yeah, I just like how he ran. He had some very good runs. He was running hard. He was taking hits and just bouncing off him a little bit. And he just showed y'all that Zeke can still be Zeke when given the opportunity. Like when he's not just running up the middle on short downs, like 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s, he still has a little bit of explosive to him. Obviously, he's not as fast as Tony Pollard, but that's okay. He can still do what he needs to do. Who would you say your MVP was?
I'm gonna go right opposite as you. I'm gonna pick his boy Tony. I feel like Tony Pollard was real big in this game. It caused me to tweet that I feel like there has to be some way we figure out to bring this guy back, and I actually think there might be a way we might be able to franchise tag him. Hopefully that keeps him here for another year. Maybe we could work something out in the future, just because we have a lot of people to pay, just to simply put it. So even I know people are like, oh, we got to get rid of Zeke. There's like nothing we could do to get rid of. Even if we get rid of Zeke and we get a little bit of money back, but it won't be what Tony Pollard's going to be offering in free agency, in my opinion. I genuinely think there's a team out there that'll make him top 3 to top 5 paid running back in the league, just because he's shown what he can do. And I mean, it's not like he doesn't deserve that. I want him to get that. But as a fan, I want him to be on our team. I feel like this is obviously I've never been in the position to make this choice, but I feel like I'd love it if sometimes people just did what it take to keep the team together. I feel like maybe if we can go on, win a Super Bowl, win something, that would be a more incentive of them to stay here. So, because other than just a crazy team friendly deal, there's really going to be nothing we can do to keep him, seeing as we have to pay CD this year, and he's our number one. That was the decision we made, so we're gonna have to pay him like a number
Last
one.
year.
Yeah, Trayvon Diggs will have to be, if he doesn't ask to be the absolute highest paid corner, genuinely just because of the way contracts work, he will be the highest paid corner of all time. If he doesn't ask for that, he's selling himself short, in my opinion. And if Jerry doesn't make him the highest paid corner of all time, I'm never gonna forgive him. Trayvon Diggs cannot leave our team,
I don't think he'll
especially
get
based on.
highest of all time, but I do think he'll get highest in the league right now. I don't know about, well,
But that's the
I guess
thing.
there's more
All
money
time,
right now. Who's
yeah,
all
that's
time?
what I'm saying.
Jalen Ramsey?
If he were to get paid the highest of the league right now, it would be the highest of all time.
Oh, you're right.
Just because that's how.
Actually, is it Ward from the Browns? He got paid highest all time right now.
I think so.
Oh yeah,
Maybe we can look it up.
Yeah, Jerry.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to give him his
yeah,
money.
like,
Have to.
and that's the thing, especially based on our corner room right now. Jay,
It's a business.
Jordan Lewis is hurt, who will be a free agent this year. Anthony Brown is hurt. Isn't even We wouldn't even
I
really
think we
want
want
to
him back,
re-sign
but
him.
still.
Deron Bland is young. Kelvin Joseph is young and not even looking that promising. So like, Diggs is our
Is about
only.
to get paid highest paid
Oh,
player in the
if
league,
we
or
and
not
that's
player for the QBs, but I play
if we
defense
we
player in the league.
the earlier we can pay Micah, the less we have to pay him in terms of more, because the more he puts out on the field, the more money he's going to deserve.
Once
So
he goes
we
that
don't want to make
DPOY, there's nothing you can tell him.
literally we don't want to make the same mistake, I want to say, we made with Dak, because we had a chance to pay Dak a lot less than we're paying him now. But he bet on himself, went out there and proved he deserved more, so we had to pay him more, and I'm okay with that if they deserve it. But pay him if we get a chance to pay him when we can pay him, and it's less, then we can take that. But So I don't. With all those people we haven't paid, are the other back in our two back tandem now, since we already have one back that we paid, it's just, I hate to say he's not a high priority, but it's just the way, it's just the way, the lay of the land. We just have to pay. There's just guys that we have to pay, and we cannot let them leave. And as much as Tony Pollard is that guy, he's more of a luxury to have in our game plan right now. As much more as Diggs, Micah, and CD, and those guys are just
We
cornerstone
don't have
pieces. We're not going to
another
give
number one like we do for our running back.
exactly,
But
exactly.
before we get out of here, I have one more question for you. How do you feel about Dak's game-winning drive? He's our franchise quarterback. He's our $40 million quarterback. And that's what you have to do. If you have a 90, regardless of who you're playing, regardless of how the game is going, all the top quarterbacks have to be able to make that 98-yard drive, 2-minute drill. How do you feel about it?
Oh man, I love it. I mean, I couldn't ask for more. Literally, every single yard of that 98 yards, except for the last two that we gave to Zeke, Dak Prescott. Whether he was throwing the ball, running the ball, and as a franchise $40 million quarterback, he took that team, put us on his back. Yeah, that's all I can ask him.
He made
Do
some.
I want to be? Do I want to be in that situation? No, but once we get there, he got us out of it. That's all I can ask him.
And I'm really glad he did because as you know, Dad's not big on Dak. And he was like, well, he's our franchise quarterback. Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, them guys will be able to take us down the field and score. And that's what he did, right? And hey, that's one thing I'll always give Dak credit for. Regardless of how the tides are going, he's always seems to be poised, calm, cool, collected. He never seems to be rattled. He never seems to be shaken. He just seems like, hey, but I bet we're gonna score this next drive though. Throw the pick. I bet we're gonna score next time. Gets 3, and I bet we don't get another one of those. So, I'm definitely proud of him. He did what he had to do. He did what our franchise QB is getting paid to do. Took us down the field, put us on his back, and he won us that game in that late fourth quarter drive. So definitely shout out Dak. Even though he didn't play a best game, he showed up when it mattered, and that's all you can ask for.
Exactly, man.
But all right, guys, that's another episode. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, everything. Appreciate the love. Take us out.
All right, guys. I'm Orlando.
And I'm Omar.
We're the Smart Bros.
And this is the Smart Take.